Hi, I'm Lisa Hayden with Channel 6 Central Kentucky TV, community focus on Washington County. And of course, I'm very pleased today to have with me Benjamin Francis Hayden, my son, who is with Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. Now, Ben, you'll have to give me that title.
I'm our Community Engagement Coordinator.
Yes.
Yep.
So, Ben, I know I'm just happy you could be here out of your busy schedule. And I wanted to say that I've enjoyed seeing you a lot on TV the last couple of weeks on some about the Art of Goodwill Gala that was just held this Saturday night.
That's right.
But now you're on Channel 6 today.
I'm most excited about this interview.
Well, I was going to say, now this is the most important one of all.
I'm very excited to be here.
So I would like to hear you talk about your gala, which I was fortunate enough to attend and was wonderful.
Well, so this is the end of my big media tour. So this will be my 4th news appearance in the last 2 weeks. So I've been rocking and rolling on the news lately. So I'm glad that we finally made time in our schedules for me to be here on your news program. So I'm excited, really, to be here.
We have a tight schedule, you know. So.
I know. I'm glad to be here. Yes, you just attended our big annual fundraiser, the Art of Goodwill, which was just held this past Saturday night in Louisville at the Speed Art Museum. So I can tell you a little bit about that, and then I can give you kind of the background and the history and mission of Goodwill and all that stuff. So that fundraiser, the Art of Goodwill, is where we commission 10 artists from across the state to make art pieces from repurposed Goodwill materials. So those artists, back in the spring, we have a call to artists where a bunch of artists submit their proposals. And we have a jury that selects those 10 artists. We call it an artist residency. So we pay those artists for their art pieces that they create. And then we sell those pieces at an art auction at the Speed Art Museum. It's a really fun event, as you saw on Saturday night.
Yes.
We raise a lot of money that supports Goodwill's mission. So our mission, so I've been with Goodwill for about 3 years. Everybody knows Goodwill stores. Just a little bit of history for you all. In 1986, there was only 2 Goodwill stores in Kentucky. One of them was in Louisville. One of them was in Lebanon.
That's right, and I shop Goodwill regularly.
And we appreciate that support.
Yeah.
So everybody knows Goodwill stores. A lot of people don't really know the mission of Goodwill, which at our core, we are a workforce nonprofit. So our mission is to help people with disabilities and other disadvantages achieve and maintain employment. So that's kind of the overarching mission of Goodwill. Our current strategic plan is to elevate people out of poverty through the power of work. So, I mean, that's a lot of words, but simply put, we want to help people get back into the workforce. So people that have sort of barriers that could be they're long-term unemployed, they lack a high school diploma or GED, they have been affected by the opioid epidemic or other drugs, they are coming out of incarceration and they're trying to get back into the workforce. We do a lot of reentry work. So we have all sorts of programs and services centered around helping people that have some sort of barrier to employment get back into the workforce. And we do that throughout here in Kentucky, Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. We serve 103 out of the 120 counties. So so there's lots of different Goodwills in the country. So we operate as our own nonprofit here in Kentucky. We have our own board and our own CEO based in Louisville, which is where our corporate office is. And then we kind of get some guiding principles and stuff from Goodwill Industries International, which is our parent nonprofit based out of Rockville, Maryland. But we operate autonomously here in Kentucky and in those 103 of 120 counties. So just to kind of draw you a picture of that, the 3 northern Kentucky counties are based out of Cincinnati's Goodwill. There's a few counties over in the Owensboro, Henderson area that are operated out of Evansville, Indiana. And there's a few counties up in the Boyd County, Ashland region that are operated out of Huntington, West Virginia. But other than that, we have lots of services and programs. We have about 66 Goodwill stores in Kentucky. So from that 1986 time period when we had Marion County and Jefferson County, one in Louisville and one in Lebanon, we grew to now today 66 stores that span across Kentucky.
That's amazing.
Yep. And still growing and increasing our career services, which is what we call our programs. So we kind of have our retail side of the house that operates our stores, and we have our career side of the house, career services, that operate all of our programs and services.
Okay, so tell me what some of those services are.
So we have currently in Kentucky, we have probably close to about 80 career coaches. So those career coaches act as case managers. So that's kind of the core of how we operate some of our programs and services. So any individual can come into any Goodwill store and ask to be connected to a career coach, and they can get one-on-one sort of case management that helps them with soft skills training, with resume writing, with helping develop whatever their skills are to achieve employment, or also better their situation. So all of our internal employees in Goodwill stores, so we have about 1,000 employees across the state in Goodwill stores, and a lot of those people have some sort of barrier or some sort of disadvantage, which is why they came to work for us. And we pay all of our employees above minimum wage. They all have access to health insurance benefits. They all have access to retirement plans if they choose to take all those options. They all have access to tuition reimbursement assistance if they want to go back to school. So all those employees across the board for us that are our full-time employees. And they all have access to a career coach as well that work for us. So we want them to move onward and upward out of Goodwill if they want to, achieve a different career path, or we want them to, move upward into Goodwill as well, if that's something that they choose. But also, anybody off the street can come into a Goodwill, or we have centers for education and employment, several of those throughout the state as well. Louisville, Lexington, Somerset, Bowling Green. We just opened one in Pikeville. And then we have a Way to Work program in Elizabethtown. So those centers we have career coaches in, but also we have career coaches throughout the state that cover all of those territories where we have stores. So here in this region, we have a career coach that covers Lebanon and Camelsville, Bardstown, Danville, Harrodsburg.
You might have to work on
all of those,
one for Springfield.
all of those surrounding areas
around
here. And then, for example, just here in Springfield, we run the CSET program, which is the Senior Community Service Employment Program. So we have the grant. Goodwill has that federal grant that covers 55 counties in Kentucky, including Washington and Marion County. So we have some people currently working in Washington County that are covered by Goodwill and have a career coach. That person has a career coach. And that career coach that runs that CSET program here in Washington County is Kim Culleton. She's actually based in our Nelson County region, but she covers Washington County. And we have a career coach, Missy Dye, who covers Marion, Washington, and Taylor County. She actually works out of the Career Center in Lebanon at least one day a week, and then Camelsville in that Career Center, the Kentucky Career Center. She works in that Career Center a couple days a week. So our career coaches are mobile. They go out and provide services all over the place. In Lexington, we have a career coach that goes into the Career Center and works. We try to meet people where they are. And so we also, in our big centers for education and employment across the state, offer a soft skills training program. So we teach attitude, conflict resolution, dependability, self-presentation, team building, and safety. So those are the modules that make up our soft skills training. And you can get a work-ready certificate in some of our bigger areas. That curriculum can transfer to 3 hours of general core curriculum at some of the community and technical colleges. So we've partnered with some of those people. We really focus on building partnerships outside of Goodwill. So with community partners, with employer partners, because we want people to be able to come and meet with us, and then us be able to connect them to an employer to somebody to go work with them, or a community partner where they can go and develop further skills, or whatever that is. Or if there's something a need that we can't serve, we like to be able to really build those partnerships, which is what my job is, is the partnership development piece.
Oh, okay.
So I cover the entire eastern half of Kentucky, from Frankfort and Lexington over to Pikeville, and go out into the community and do that community engagement piece, building those relationships, figuring out ways that we can help fill the gap.
Okay, okay. Yep. Okay, so that leads me to a question. So if someone here in Washington County wanted to get, say they're a drug addict, and now they're are sober, and are wanting to change their lifestyle,
Yep.
and become self-supportive. So they could just go into Goodwill in Lebanon
And ask for a career coach, sure. So because she is stretched, and only can do so much in Lebanon. She's only there probably 1 day a week, and that's generally at the Career Center. She's usually at the Career Center in Lebanon. So I would, yes, advise that person that works, go into the Goodwill and ask for a career coach, and they can connect you that way. But also I would recommend, we have a phone number they can call. We have our website. They can get on our website and email and ask for assistance, because with exception of like Louisville, Lexington, some of the bigger areas, we have people on site that can help people on a walk-in basis. Some of the smaller areas, we recommend making an appointment. So then you can guarantee that you're going to be able, and that person can even come, meet somebody in a library, in a public place that's going to,
Right.
accommodate that person's needs.
Yeah.
So we like to be
They
able
could meet them in Springfield,
right,
say at the library.
right,
or,
to help meet, to help
Yeah.
accommodate them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so you also partner with some of these other agencies. Of course, I know you know Terry Thomas, because she's with the Career Center. So you would partner maybe with Terry to do some of those.
And they are already doing that.
Because they do
they're
like
already
maybe
doing
some
that.
soft skills training and.
So it's our services are pretty localized. So they're already doing that. So our career coach here, Missy, is already partnering with them at that Career Center in Lebanon with Terry.
Yeah. And so they can do some things together, maybe some soft skills training, but then, and I know that there would be other agencies they might refer to for.
Right. So Goodwill doesn't specialize in like emergency assistance. That is not our area of expertise. If someone comes to us, we do often get people that come to us, and I'm speaking specifically about Lexington and Louisville. We often get people that are homeless, people that have just been released from incarceration, as in that day or that next day they come to us because they've been released from jail or prison. We get a lot of that in Lexington and Louisville. So those people are in need of their basic needs being met, food, shelter, clothing. But that is not Goodwill's forte. We do not, that's not what we specialize in. We really want to help connect those people to agencies who are experts in that. So, your community actions. So you would
refer them.
We would much rather them get assistance from like community action if they need their basic needs met, or a food pantry if they need food. Some of those people Goodwill doesn't do a food pantry. We don't do, housing assistance. We don't do assistance with your utility bills, that kind of stuff. Our specialty is helping those people, get back into the workforce, find a good job, develop those skills, achieve better employment, because we want to help people get out of poverty. So we have a goal to, get them more than $10 an hour in their jobs on average across the state. So we want to help people, achieve a livable wage.
And,
And we do, our career coaches work with them to provide those wraparound services and connect them to all those resources that are going to do that. But we don't specialize in helping them. We have a barrier reduction program. So if someone is working with one of the career coaches and they might need shoes for their job or clothing, we obviously can help with clothing. We are an enormous nonprofit that does clothing, as that's our organization. We have a ton of clothes. But we also
and furniture too.
And furniture too. So we have
you could help give someone some furniture.
We have opportunities to do that kind of stuff through our barrier reduction program. If somebody's working with a career coach in order to achieve, employment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so.
Do you help them get a car?
Oh yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Oh really?
Yeah. I didn't even.
Well, I'm thinking of transportation is a barrier.
I'm so glad you mentioned
in
that.
your rural areas.
Yeah. One of the best programs that we have is our Cars to Work program, which is highly underutilized. So I'm so glad you brought that up. So we have a Cars to Work program. Up until this year, that program was people donated cars to us. We refurbished those cars and then helped people buy those used cars. And so we changed that model up this year because it wasn't necessarily working the way we wanted it to. So this year, in 2019, we partnered with a car dealership in Louisville, and they, put aside a bunch of used cars that are in that $5,000 to $7,000 range. But it's a statewide program, but the cars are in Louisville, and so so the Cars to Work program, Goodwill, a person has to work with a career coach to be eligible for the program. They have to save about $500, I believe. So they have to be working to be eligible for the program. So they have to have a job so they can work with a career coach and get a job. They have to save $500, and then Goodwill matches that. So they have a $1,000 down payment for the car. And they have to go through some financial counseling and stuff in order to be eligible for the program, because we want people to be prepared for what the responsibility that comes with owning a car. So paying car insurance, what happens if your engine blows, expenses that come up with car ownership. And so then Goodwill backs the loan on the car. So if it doesn't matter if the person doesn't have any credit or anything like that, Goodwill backs the loan on the car. And then we help them. There's an inventory online. They get to pick out their car, and Goodwill backs the loan. They buy a car, a used car, and then at the end of they have a low payment. At the end of them paying off that loan, Goodwill gives them a check for the interest back.
Wow, that's pretty nice.
So it's a great program. We want people all across the state can take advantage of that program. All of the details, because I am sure I left off some of the specifics about the program, but all of those are available on Goodwill's website. It's goodwillky.org is our website, and all of the specifics about all of our programs are available on there, and I encourage people to take a look at that.
Well, now, then Ben, of course, after, they say they get a career coach, but they have lots of barriers to overcome. So maybe first getting their GED, and the career coach will refer them to the appropriate place for that, and however that goes. But then when you get into the job aspect and making sure they get into a job that is going to be able to help them support themselves.
Yep.
So your expertise then is to get employers and businesses to partner with Goodwill for these types of jobs?
That's one aspect of what I do.
Okay, so explain that to me.
So yes, we definitely want employers to partner with us that have, job openings and that are willing. I hate to, use the term second chance employers, but we do say that. those employers that are willing to, be flexible with this population of people that we serve. So I know a lot of the manufacturers for here in Washington, for example, here in Washington County, are in desperate need of, a skilled and qualified workforce. And so part of that is working with those employers that are willing to be more accommodating to people that might have a criminal background and people that have, been in substance abuse recovery, whatever it might be. So working with those employers and educating them about the people that we're working with and helping them, with some additional sort of
support services, maybe?
Yeah.
So like...
so that's part of what I do, is absolutely going out and doing some outreach to those employers, and helping them, connect with us.
And you're probably working with like Daniel Carney, our Economic Development Director.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some of these Economic Development Directors in other cities and or employment services. You work with those agencies?
Absolutely. Yeah, we connect with all those different people to try to make sure that we're connecting with all the local businesses to get the people connected to the businesses. Yeah. And so, so that's definitely an aspect of what I do, is that outreach. So any sort of way that we can develop those relationships, that's key to the success of the people, because ultimately we want the people we're serving to get into those successful jobs.
Right. Well, so then, like, how might you support someone who, say, you have an employer in Washington County that is willing to give someone a job, but what kind of support services might you give?
Well, we continue to work, our career coaches continue to work with them. So it's all individualized to the person. So, I mean, that would really be up to the career coach that covers this area to figure out how they work with that person individually and help meet their needs. So once they get them into a job, we really want them to continue to, stay with them. We kind of call it a member for life. So it's really up to the person and the career coach. If the person wants to continue working with us, they might get a job and then, not want to have any contact with us again. But we really want that career coach to continue working with them and act as that, support for them. They can even call the HR person on behalf of them if, something happens. If there's some, because we all know that there's life circumstances that can sometimes interfere with work. And so, we don't want that to end up getting that person fired or that person to lose their job because life interferes. Sometimes it takes a while for somebody to get stabilized in their, life and employment. So we don't want things to go awry for somebody.
And I assume you would try to head those off at the pass before they become too big a problem. So the career coach would be...
And they really have to be they're the front lines. The career coaches are the front line people that really have to be, making sure that,
things are running smoothly.
And we rely on them too to have that relationship with the employer. It kind of goes both ways.
So, like, can they say what if they need special items to work? You could help with that. Special accommodations,
disability stuff. So that we partner with Voc Rehab, the Office of Vocational Rehab. So that would really come into play there if they needed special accommodations. We have a lot of people in our stores that have special accommodations. We partner a lot with Voc Rehab for those sorts of things.
Okay. And so...
And then it's also, of course, like for in our stores, for example, the managers and HR, they all make special accommodations as needed for people. Okay.
So have we missed anything? What else?
I'm trying to think what else. So Goodwill also runs a program called WIPA, which is the Work Incentives and Planning Assistance Program, and that helps individuals that are receiving disability benefits or Social Security benefits navigate how if they are looking to go back to work, but they're receiving disability, that program helps them understand, how much they can work while receiving disability and navigate those sort of benefits.
So they don't get cut off or something.
Right.
Before they've been able to
get to work
stable,
or get stable or whatever. And so that is a federal program through
What's that called?
It's WIPA, W-I-P-A. It's the Work Incentives and Planning Assistance Program. That is, we run that in about 65 counties. It's in every single county. Goodwill does run that in about 53 counties, I think. And so that information is also available on our website, how to get connected to that. But those are like case managers they're on the phone. They work on the phone. And that is through the Social Security Administration. I believe it's a federal program. And they can call in if somebody's receiving disability and get connected to that program. So that information is also available on our website. But yeah, so we do all sorts of great programs that people don't realize, that Goodwill is a part of.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, like...
we also do a lot of expungement clinics. So that's been a real hot topic in the last year.
Yeah.
So for people that are looking to get their records expunged, so I've been kind of big on helping plan those events. So we partner a lot with Legal Aid, which is, the nonprofit attorneys, the pro bono attorneys. So we bring in the Department of Corrections and host events where we bring for free for people to come in and get their backgrounds ran and give them legal advice on how to go through the process of getting their records cleaned up. And that's been a huge, we've served.
You were surprised by how many people have taken advantage of the program?
Just in the last year, we've probably served, I would say 1,000 people. I could give you the specific number, I don't have it on hand, but we have seen hundreds and hundreds of people through those expungement clinics.
And those clinics have been where?
We've had them all over the state. We've had them Lexington, Louisville, we've had them in Hazard, we've had them in...
Have you had them in Marion yet?
I don't know that we've had one in Lebanon, but
I think you need to have one in Washington and Marion.
All over the place. We've had them in Shelbyville, we've had them in, Moorhead, Danville. We've had a lot of them.
Well, great.
So, yeah.
And where do you just advertise those on your website? Or
we try to always advertise everything that we do on our website, on our Facebook page, which is at Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. I'm sure on Facebook you can find it that way. And whenever we're doing something in a local town, we try to advertise, through the local newspaper. We always send out like a media release, like a press release to the local papers.
And through Channel 6, I'm sure.
And through Channel 6, of course. Whenever we've got anything going on, we try to send it out to the local media and advertise, through whatever channels are available.
Well, I would think there would be a huge need for that. I think that's a wonderful program you've started. And I know, there are people right here in Washington County that would certainly benefit from that because, that is a barrier to a lot of people's employment. Yeah. And of course, I know, with the state, they're trying to change some of those laws so that, people can get those felonies off their records.
Yeah.
And so that's a good thing. And how can you change your life and become a self-supportive individual when you can't get a job because of your felony record?
Yep.
So so that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. And then now, Ben, how does Goodwill get their money for these programs?
So Goodwill is about 85% self-funded through our retail stores. So those retail stores are the mechanism for funding. We are a nonprofit. A lot of people don't realize that Goodwill is a nonprofit. We are a nonprofit. those stores, Goodwill stores, do fund our programs and services. So that's about 85% of our funding. The other 15% comes from some of those federal funding or federal grants or other grants. And then some of that also comes from donations from people, like our fundraiser that we just had on Saturday night.
Yeah, yeah. I hope you all raised a lot of money on that. It was certainly a nice event.
It was a great,
Yeah.
So we did pretty well. As more and more money that we generate in our stores, so we appreciate everybody's donations. We appreciate everybody shopping in our stores. I go out periodically and work in the stores. So I will go out here in a couple weeks during the holidays and work in the stores, which is a lot of fun. I mean, I always enjoy that. And so then, so that revenue is generated, and that goes, the more we raise in our stores, the more we put back into programs and services, hiring more career coaches, opening more of these education and employment centers, and then creating more training programs, and more opportunities for us to serve more people. Last year in Kentucky, and I wish that I had the statistics right in front of me, but we helped more than 2,500 people get placed into jobs.
Wow.
And that was at an average wage of about $10.50 an hour, because we track all those metrics, and that was with over about 700 employers throughout the state.
Wow.
So, and I could be off by a few of those numbers a little bit, but that's about right.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And those career coaches can stay with that person as long as they're needed.
Yeah, and as long as the
or
person,
as long as they're want, or the person
and we get a lot of
them.
people. Yeah, we get a lot of people that come back to us that go work a job, and then something happens, their life situation changes, and they lose that job, which we hate to see that happen. But we do see that happen, and that person comes right back to that career coach because they need help finding another opportunity.
Yeah, yeah. So now, if someone wants to do a donation, how would they do that? Is there a place
like a clothing donation or a monetary donation?
Well, I know a clothing donation. You just take stuff to the store, because I've done that. Yeah. And I mean, you've got Goodwill boxes at a lot of places.
We are always happy to take a monetary donation as well.
Yeah. But I know you can donate clothing,
and you absolutely
furniture.
can online. Yes. But you can we're always happy to have any sort of gently used clothing item or furniture at any of our stores.
Yeah.
We pretty much mostly take anything except for, I mean, I can't think of what we don't take, but I'm not the expert.
And you get tax...
you can get a tax deduction for that. You can get the form that is your tax write-off. I'm not the expert on what we don't take, so I can't tell you that. But we take most
you
stuff.
take a lot.
We take a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got those, like I said, some, in some parking lots and things, 'cause there's like Goodwill drop-offs. Yeah.
I don't know where we have those, but we're getting ready. So this winter time at the University of Kentucky, we're placing donation bins throughout all of the university campus, so that college students that might be moving out, for good or for the winter time or whatever, that might have stuff that they want to get rid of, they can put them in donation bins. So not only do we want people's donations, it's very eco-friendly. So from an environmental standpoint, we're saving a lot of stuff from going in the dumpsters. So we save over 50 million pounds a year of materials from going into dumpsters.
Wow.
And everything that's not used in our stores also gets sent overseas to be reused again. And so
that's wonderful.
Yeah, so all of our clothing in our stores that doesn't get used gets sent, I cannot tell you exactly where, but somewhere overseas, and that is typically shredded and used for insulation.
Oh, okay.
So it's very environmentally conscious as well.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing and saving the environment as well.
And so that's something also very many people do not know about Goodwill, that has that great environmental aspect. We're very responsible with our donated goods, and
want to
and want to continuously, improve and make sure that we're doing good things. So
if someone wants to donate,
yes,
financially,
you can do that on our website. We would
on the
love that.
website, you've got a place to
Right.
donate on that.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and if not, I'll make sure and find out.
Well, and it's particularly here at Christmas time.
Yeah.
There's going to be
Yeah.
what?
Well, I was just going to thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that too. Oftentimes at Christmas time, there is a social media post that goes around. My CEO would be happy that I'm saying this. So our CEO here in Kentucky is Amy Luttrell, and she's based in Louisville. I know her very well. And so at Christmas time, there's often a big social media post that goes around that says, don't donate to these nonprofits. Goodwill's on there, Salvation Army's on there, I probably
Red
Habitat,
Cross
Red
is
Cross.
on there.
There's like 6 nonprofits
I know, I
on
go
there
through this every year with the Red Cross.
that say don't donate to these nonprofits. It often says that, the Goodwill CEO makes $2 million a year, and, it says that it's this person named Mark Curran that is, whoever, but that person does not work for Goodwill, and, that person, as far as we know, has not ever existed in the Goodwill world. And so I know my CEO,
and your CEO in Kentucky and making $2 million
does not make $2 million
a
a year. No.
Now maybe she would like to, but she's not going to be doing it with Goodwill, is she?
Right. I mean, I make $2 million a year. But.
I wish you did. So, well, anyway, those are really good things to know, and I'm just happy that you could be here today,
Well,
Ben.
I'm glad we finally got it to work out.
Yeah.
Now let's go to dinner.
Now that you make so much money for
I'm kidding.
Goodwill,
I'm kidding.
I know.
Don't anybody think that that's true.
I was going to say you can just buy me dinner.
Right.
So anyway, thanks for being here today.
Thank
I
you,
love
Mom.
you, sweetheart. Mwah.